Well, it looks like we are on the verge of yet another illegal war, this time with Venezuela. I've been talking about this a lot lately, and I want to read a little of an article here that just appeared in Newsweek today. Here's the headline: Maduro hits back at Trump. Quote, Trump is, quote, according to Maduro, inventing new eternal war. Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, has accused Donald Trump of warmongering after he deployed the U.S. Navy's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, to the Caribbean. Maduro told his country's state media that the U.S. was, quote, inventing a new eternal war as the Trump administration ramps up an operation to target alleged drug smuggling boats. It comes as the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced that 6 narco-terrorists had been killed in the latest American strike on an alleged drug smuggling boat in the Caribbean Sea. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my previous videos on this topic, these killings are 100% illegal. These are murders. A president only has authority to use deadly military force like this, either pursuant to an authorization of Congress, which there is none in this case, or as is necessary to act in the immediate defense of the country against a clear and present danger that is so serious and pressing that there's no time to go to Congress to seek authorization, that the president has no choice but to act with deadly military force immediately without going to Congress. Obviously, that's not the case here. Even if what Trump is saying about these boats is true, which there's no reason to believe this piece of shit about anything. But even if it were true, little boats carrying drugs 1,000 miles off our coast, that's hardly a threat that necessitates a deadly military response without time to go to Congress. And these boats with little outboard motors, they'd have to stop for gas like 20 times to reach our shores. We've been dealing with drug smuggling boats for decades. Okay, we interdict them, we prosecute them. There's no need to do this. That's just the cover. That's just the pretext. That's just the excuse. These are illegal. It's unconstitutional. They're war crimes. So let's be clear about that. Let me read a little more. Along with most countries, the U.S. does not recognize Maduro as the president of Venezuela. Following 2024 elections, he is accused of stealing. So this is important. I want to make sure you understand clearly. Maduro is a piece of shit, all right? All indications are that he stole that election. He's not the rightful, legitimately elected leader of that country. He's a scumbag. Okay, fine. A lot of scumbags in the world, right? A lot of dictators around the world. And Donald Trump explicitly, putting aside the fact that this war would be completely illegal, right? Because he said he's not going to Congress. He was asked about this the other day. Asked if he was planning on seeking a declaration of war from Congress. He said, nah, I don't need to. This isn't war. We're just going to kill people. That's literally what he said. It's not war. I'm just going to kill people. Anyway, so putting aside the whole illegal war for a minute, this guy was running as the peace president. Sorry, something's over there and I can't see what it is. and a little jittery about the Bears lately. He was running as the peace candidate, right? No more wars. He was going to get us out of all foreign wars, no more foreign entanglements, no more regime change. You know, he was adamantly against the Iraq war, or, you know, in recent years, he's been adamantly against the Iraq war because, you know, it was for regime change and it was for oil and it was for all these things. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to, it's America first. We're not going to spend our money and send our servicemen and women all around the world to get involved in other people's business, right? That's what he and MAGA said he was all about, right? Well, now apparently we are going to go to war. We're gonna ramp this up. We're going to move on from just murdering people in little fishing boats to actually striking inside Venezuela. He's moving an aircraft carrier strike group into position. All the indications and all the reporting is that we are going to actually strike inside Venezuela for regime change. That's what they're talking about. So, you know, a week or two ago, regime change was bad. Certainly was bad during the campaign, and now it's good, I guess. Now MAGA's all for that. Just a little bit more here. Maduro has accused the U.S. of, quote, fabricating a new war after it sent the world's largest warship, which can carry up to 90 aircraft, to the Caribbean. I don't like having to agree with Nicolas Maduro, but obviously he's right about this. Trump is fabricating a new war, doing so illegally. And this article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it goes on to say that Donald Trump is interested in the oil, which is funny because Republicans, you know, these MAGAs, were all against, you know, no blood for oil. Remember, you know, that's what they say about the war in Iraq. No blood for oil. No more regime change wars. Now regime change wars for oil is good now, apparently. So the article says that that's what Trump's interested in. He's interested in the oil. The reason why they are talking about this being a war on drugs, they're talking about both. Obviously, now they started to openly talk about regime change. But up until now, it's all been about stopping the drugs. The drug thing was Marco Rubio's spin, according to this article. That Trump was only interested in oil, but Marco Rubio was smart enough at least to know we can't start another war and explicitly say we're starting this war for oil. Okay, that's not going to go well. We have to come up with another reason. So why don't we say it's a part of the war on drugs, and let's blow up some little fishing boats, and then we'll escalate, and then we'll invade Venezuela. So that apparently was Marco Rubio's idea. But I think this also has a lot to do with what so much of Donald Trump does, or the reasons that Donald Trump does so much of what he does, and that is Epstein. Absolutely. Look at what else is going on right now. The government continues to be shut down. The Speaker of the House, Grinder, Mike Johnson, said that we're going to have another week, next week. The House will continue to be on recess. He's still not calling them back because he doesn't want to have to swear in Congresswoman-elect Grijalva to be the 218th signature on a discharge petition to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files. And of course, Grinder Mike wouldn't be doing that unless that's what Donald Trump wanted him to do, okay? Donald Trump is calling the shots. The House is on recess because Donald Trump told them to be on recess, okay? Mike Johnson doesn't take a piss without Donald Trump giving him permission. So this is not coming from him. This is Trump. Trump is ordering this shutdown to cover up his involvement with his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, and what the two of them did to children. That's what this is about. And I also believe that is, in large part, what this Venezuelan shit is about. And if he does this, I'm sure Congress won't do anything about it. He should be impeached and removed, obviously, already should have been, but it won't result in that, at least not now. Whether it ever will depend on us and what we do in the midterm elections, assuming we have fair elections. That remains to be seen. But this could go sideways in any number of ways. It could be a disaster. It could end up blowing up in his face, like bad. Depending on what happens, it could result in his being removed from office. Who knows? But what I do know is if it doesn't result in him being removed from office, if things go very, very badly, it's not going to stop with this. He's going to do other things because he will need to continue to cover up his involvement with his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, and what they did to children. So the need to continue covering that up is not going to end just because we go to war with Venezuela. So he's going to need to do other things. Will he start new wars? Hey, if he's starting this war, why wouldn't he start other wars? He's already talked about wanting to take back the Panama Canal by force. He's talked about taking Greenland by force. Maybe he does that, not many people up there. We've got American bases up there. Maybe he just orders them to take control of Greenland. I don't know. That's certainly not hard to picture. Maybe he does the Panama thing. Who knows? I mean, Venezuela wasn't... Nobody had going to war with Venezuela on their bingo card a couple months ago, and now it looks like we're going to. So, take a dart and throw it at a map, and, maybe that's the country we go to war with next. The peace president, right? It's this fucking guy demanding the Nobel Peace Prize, but we're literally going to start an illegal war to steal their oil and to cover up what Donald Trump did to children with his best friend Jeffrey Epstein. And he demands the Nobel Peace Prize. And you got all these MAGAs all over social media saying that he does deserve the Peace Prize, and all these anti-war MAGAs are now beating the drums for an illegal war. It's just, this is the most ridiculous fucking timeline one can imagine. Anyway, yeah, that's it on that. Thanks for watching.